would like to start today's talk on why should you have an entrepreneurial attitude. It's my pleasure and privilege to introduce Ms. Nandini Vaidyanathan, who has mentored over 2,000 entrepreneurs in last 10 years. On behalf of Derby Foundation, I cordially welcome Ms. Nandini Vaidyanathan to this talk, and I request Ms. Dr. Lakshmi Jagannathan to welcome. I request Ms. Nandini to take over dais.
Thank you. This session is about how do I develop an entrepreneurial attitude. Why is an entrepreneurial attitude important to me today? The session is going to cover more of that than starting your own business. So an entrepreneur does not mean starting your own business. That's what I wanted to talk to you about today. You can be an entrepreneur working in an Infosys. What you need is what I call entrepreneurial attitude. So again, it's a myth that when I say I want to be an entrepreneur, it means I want to toddle off and start something on my own. That's not a fact at all. You can be an entrepreneur working in an SAP, in an Infosys, but you behave as if you own the company. You feel for the company. You die for the company. You give your everything for the company. That is entrepreneurial attitude. Okay? So it's not just about, I have an idea, I want to start a business around it, and therefore I want to become an entrepreneur. I'm going to start with a story. You've all heard of a company called Walmart, right? So Walmart has umpteen stores in the US itself, and this was pre-Christmas, just 15 days before Christmas. And typically Walmart does not have a good reputation for being a good employer. Attrition is very high. People join, work for 1 day, 2 days, and then they quit. Walmart had the reputation of having some 300% attrition, which means people came literally, worked for a day and went away. So this was, like I said, pre-Christmas, just about 15, 20 days before Christmas. So Christmas sale will be very high. So in every store of Walmart, they were hiring a lot of people. So there was this one store in a place called Denver. They were hiring there. And it was a long, tiresome process. They were hiring some 75 people. The HR manager was very tired. All morning he had spent hiring people. And he went back to his cabin and he sat and he said, no more, thank God, 75 people I have hired, and that's the end of the story. So one Sardarji boy walked in to his cabin and he said, I heard outside that you are hiring, so I wanted to see you. So the man said, no, I'm not hiring, I'm done with hiring, you go away. So the boy said, Sarji, I've come from India, I need a job badly, so why don't you hire me? Why don't you check me out? But the manager was not in the mood, he said, no, get out. Sam Walton, who was the owner of Walmart, just at that time walked in. He saw there was some argument kind of a thing happening between these two. So he came in and he said, what's the problem? The boy said, Sarji, I've just come from India, why don't you give me a job? And, I will prove it to you. I'll tell you what, I will come whenever you ask me to come. I will work for as long as you want me to work. At the end of the day, if you're not happy with my work, don't pay me a cent. I'm prepared to go back. Not an issue. Maybe Sam Walton thought, kuch dum hai is ladke mein? So confidently he's saying, if you're not happy with me, don't pay me. So he said, okay, come tomorrow morning at 8:15. It's a 12-hour shift. And I will see you at 8:15 tomorrow. The boy went, reported at 8:15. Night 8:15, he had wrapped up and he was about to leave when Walton walked in. So he said, so young man, how was your day? So I said, it was okay. So how many sales did you make? So the boy said, I made 1 sale. So Walton said, on a normal day, we expect each of our salespeople to do about 35 sales. Pre-Christmas, we expect them to do 80, 90. If you have done just 1 sale, you're obviously not good. So I don't think I can hire. You can go back. He was about to walk away when something made him ask, what was the value of the sale? And the boy said, $100,000. So it's Sam Walton's turn to look surprised. So he said, $100,000? What did you sell? So the boy said, Sirji, one customer came. He bought fishing rods, rods to fish. He wanted a small rod, but I sold him big rods. Yeah, still it's not 100,000. Yeah, then I told him, you bought big rods, I've also given you some bait. Why don't you go upstream and fish? There are a lot more fish there. And the customer said, damn good idea, but I don't have a boat to go upstream. And I said, Sirji, don't worry, I have a boat, I will sell it to you. It's still not $100,000. So the customer, then I told the customer, you're going upstream anyway. It leads to a beautiful wooded area, nice forest. Why don't you camp the night? I will even give you some Budweiser beer free. Why don't you do that? And the customer said, bloody good idea, except that I don't have camping equipment. And I said, Sirji, why are you worried? I will sell you camping equipment. Then the customer looked at all the shopping and he said, my God, I bought so much, how do I carry? And I said, Sirji, don't worry, we have a 4x4 truck, I will sell it to you. So Walton looked at him and said, are you seriously telling me that a customer came to buy fishing rod and you sold him a boat, camping equipment and a truck? The boy said, no, Sirji. Customer came saying he has a headache. Rocket Singh, no. Customer came in saying he has a headache and he wanted to buy aspirin. I told him fishing was a good way to get rid of the headache. Customer came with one product idea in mind. He sold him so much. In other words, what did the boy see which the 75 others did? The boy saw an opportunity. Did he only see an opportunity? Did he only convert an opportunity? He also created opportunities, no?
Yeah.
That is entrepreneurial attitude. Entrepreneurial attitude is saying, it doesn't matter that I don't own the company, but I own the roadmap here for my own growth and for my company's growth. That is entrepreneurial attitude. Okay. In the last 5-10 years, what have been the drivers of change? I think the biggest driver of change in India is technology. Yeah? I mean, I still remember when I was growing up, if you wanted a telephone connection, you waited 8 years for a landline connection. You booked, you waited 8 years. Today, you pay for a SIM card and by the time you come home, if the SIM card is not activated, aap maa bahan gaali doge na? Yeah? Yes or no? Yes. So much has changed. What has made that possible? Technology, right? I mean, phenomenal. Without Google, what would you do? You would use your brain more probably. So suddenly today, context of globalization means adapting to local cultures. You may do certain things in your country, but when you come to my country, you will do, if you go to KFC in Forum Value Mall, there is a KFC there which gives you dal makhani and rice. I died, I committed suicide that day when I saw that. KFC gives you dal makhani and rice. Which KFC does? That poor colonel must be, turning over in his grave. That's the level of cultural adaptation. So, globalization today has come to mean globalization. Global concept applying locally. Okay, adapting it to local cultures. So Flipkart came on the scene. They said, here is an opportunity. What did Flipkart start with? Books. Only books, right? Eventually, they added a whole range of products. That is because there were too many competitors. They had to stand out. If you go to an electronics store, physical store, you can buy only electronics. You can't buy Bandgala suit. So here was Flipkart saying, come to me, you can buy whatever you want. I'm giving you a good range. The market point of view, Flipkart was offering you something which no physical store was offering, and there was no other, e-commerce portal either. So they had what is called first mover advantage, prime mover advantage. They had a brilliant advantage, and you've seen how they've grown on account of that. January or February, Zomato changed the logo. And by March, April, they had changed to this. Why did they? A company in the US called Urban Spoon, whose logo this was. Urban Spoon had a huge market in North America and Canada. They didn't want to mess with the logo because customers were familiar with this logo. So they said, we'd rather change Zomato's logo itself. In other words, what are they talking about? They're talking about your needs, customers' needs. Customers' needs again have driven phenomenal amount of change. So this is something I keep hearing from everybody, from students like you. Why don't you start your own business? Why don't you sit out of placements? Oh, how can I? I'm too young. Paisa nahi hai. I'm a girl. Who will give me money? Shaadi ho jayega to kya karenge? Lots of excuses like this I keep hearing. I'm not from a business family. I'm not from a business family. I hear from all the Brahmin kids. No, my father is a banker. He'll have a heart attack. Nobody in my family has done business. I have heard sometimes people say, I don't mind starting something on my own, but where will I get an idea from? Is there something called an idea bank? Can I go and draw from there? Where will I get ideas from? In India, the good thing is family. For entrepreneurship, the good thing is we have a family support system. The trouble in India is the bad thing in entrepreneurship is family. Like in many parts of the world where there is no family support system, in India it's brilliant. Parent support, wife supports, husband supports, okay, and whole lot of new scripts have been written. But problem also is the same family kind of come in the way and they don't let you do what you want to do. And your friends too. This is a brilliant opportunity that your educational institution has provided for you. Do not miss out on it. What else can an incubator give you? Some incubators give you seed fund. There are many incubators that don't give you seed fund, but your incubator is offering you seed fund, which means at least you can develop the prototype. You need money to develop your prototype, to hire maybe 1 or 2 people, if not more, right? At least for some basic things. And your company can help, your incubator can help you incorporate a company, all the documentation that goes with the incorporation. The whole thing can handhold you till you become market ready and go to market. And if your idea has a patenting opportunity, your incubator can support you there. Make sure that you file for a patent before anybody else does. If the things that is good, for an entrepreneur, especially when you're a student entrepreneur, is to be able to have your college create that ecosystem for you by way of an incubator. You guys are lucky. Do not miss on this opportunity. You will regret it all your life. Let me give you comparative statistics. 1975, South Korea and Ghana, both were on the same levels of GDP, 380, 390. In the next 20 years, South Korea embraced entrepreneurship, opening up all sectors to people who wanted to build businesses. Ghana embraced protectionist policy. Everything was government controlled. 1995, exactly 20 years later, Ghana's GDP remained at 390. South Korea's GDP went up to 880. In India today, we are in a beautiful place. I think entrepreneurship is a mission critical route for all of us. I don't know how many of you understand this, but if there is a place to be today on this planet, it is in India. And you guys are lucky you are in India. You are in a college which has an incubator. Don't be stupid and throw it on me. Grab this opportunity in both your hands. Right? I want to see every one of you build a successful company. Find the entrepreneur inside you. I think every one of us has an entrepreneur inside us. It's just that usko daba ke rakh dete hain India mein. We don't allow him to peek out. We conform to all our cultural pressures. I've heard this all, There was a guy, a student of mine at IIM, and I always thought he was going to be a brilliant entrepreneur. But he, went the placement route. So when he came to see me with the appointment letter, I was so pissed off with him. I sat him down and I said, Rabish, I thought you were going to be an entrepreneur. He said, Haan Nandini ma'am, I'm still going to be an entrepreneur. 3 saal ke baad I will be an entrepreneur. I said, why? What is this 3 साल का मुहूर्त? He said, no, my parents से कोई लड़की नहीं देगा. पहले शादी कर लेता हूँ, उसके बाद I will become an entrepreneur. Then she can't leave me, no. Right? So in India, we heard all these stories. Don't come under this pressure. Have the conviction. If you want to be an entrepreneur and your parents insist, no, take placement, just calmly, quietly tell your dad and mom, give me 2 years time. Just 2 years. I'm not asking for a lifetime. Give me 2 years time. Okay, let me mess around. Think I've become a hippie for the next 2 years. Let me mess around. There is an idea. I want to try. I want to do something. At the end of 2 years, if I don't succeed, I promise you, I will take a job. But just give me these 2 years. I think is the trick in India. I've seen it work with a number of my students. So I'm guessing it will work with your parents too. Okay. Thank you.